This here is the Böksta stone, a very unique and mysterious runestone located in Fjärdhundraland. It has wonderful carvings which I will go over in detail a little bit later in this video, because first I want to talk about the stone's history. The first one to document the runestone was Johannes Bureus, Sweden's first runologist. He writes that the stone is located at Balingsta's priest meadow, which is here behind me, roughly 100 meters south from the stone's current location. Here the mighty stone once stood for hundreds of years, next to an old road which no longer exists. But then sometime during the 1600s, the stone was shattered into 5 pieces. One is not completely sure why. It is possible that someone exploded the stone with the help of fire to use it in construction. 4 of these pieces laid here behind me in the field. There they laid until 1864, when they were put together again in the stone's current location. But where was the 5th piece? It was said to be here, at Balingsta church. Built in to the stone wall behind me. Here the stone was last sighted in 1672, but then it was gone for over 300 years. Buried somewhere in this stone wall. Until it was found again in 2004 during some excavation work here at the church's western gate. The last piece could now be put in, and the Böksta-sten could once again be seen in its full glory. For 600 years the runestone stood until it was destroyed. 400 years later it stands proud once again. Now it's up to us if it will stand 100 more. Let's start with the rune inscription. It starts here and it reads Ingi auk jugerder dau lätu reisa stein denna att eist son sin. Faster auk deir broder reiste att broder, and then one can assume that it will end with sin, broder sin. And the translation of this to English says Ingi and Jugerder, they had this stone raised in memory of Eyster, their son. Anfaster and his brothers raised in memory of their brother. Worth noting is that Ingi is not a complete name, it's just the first part of a name. We don't know the second half because those runes are lost. But the famous Swedish runologist Sven B.F. Jansson came to the conclusion that the name probably ended with Munder, which would give us the male name Ingimunder. With that out of the way, we can conclude that the runestone was raised in memory of Eyster, by his father named Ingimunder, his mother named Jugerder, his brother Ernfast, and his other brothers who are not named on this stone. This is not an unusual text. In fact, it is the most common type of text found on runestones. In Swedish archaeology, this type of text is called a minnesformel or a resarformel, which I had a hard time finding an English translation for, but my rough translation is memory formula, which basically is a name for how the text is structured. This structure often goes like this. X raised the stone in memory of Y, their dead relative.
What is so unique about this runestone is its ornementation. It is one of a kind. Down here we have a skier. This is the oldest depiction in Sweden of a skier. Here he is holding a bow with an arrow on the string, ready to fire. The centerpiece of this runestone is a big horse. On top of this horse is a man wearing a helmet and wielding a long spear. In front of this man is what one can assume a dog. 2 dogs. Up here on the top of the runestone is a bird. You can see the wings here. Here's the beak, the eye, and the body. And the claws are here. Down here, underneath the dog, is what one can assume a stag or a moose. Here are the antlers. Here's the head and the eye. On top of this stag, there is a bird. He has struck his claw into the prey.
But what does all this mean? Well, there are several theories regarding the meaning behind these carvings and the rune text. The 2 theories that seem to be more widely accepted is that it's a depiction of a falcon hunt after a moose or a deer. It is possible that the dead brother took part in such a hunt and died during it. And his family then decided to raise the stone and carve the scene in memory of him. But there is also the possibility that he didn't necessarily die during a hunt, but being that he was a falcon hunter, after his death the family carved the pictures to help him find good hunting grounds in the afterlife. But there is a third theory. A theory which I much more like to believe. And that is the mythic theory. It's not merely a falcon hunt. The man that you see to the left, wielding a bow and standing on skis, that is actually Uller, the god of skiing, god of bows, god of hunting, and the god of shields. It is said that he is such a good bowman and skier that no one can compete with him. He is the son of Siv and the stepson to Thor. And the man in the middle is not an ordinary rider. It is actually the All-Father himself, Odin. He is riding his 8-legged steed, Sleipnir, and he is wielding Gungnir, his magic spear, which is said to always hit its target. He is wearing his golden helmet, which from underneath he has a mighty beard. In front of him are Geri and Freki, Odin's wolf dogs. And flying above him is Hugin and Munin, one of them having struck his claws into the prey. Stags are also present in the mythology, and they are sometimes associated with Odin. For example, on top of his hall stands the stag called Eikfyrnir. There are also the 4 stags called Dain, Dvalin, Duneyr, and Durafror that eat among the leaves of Yggdrasil. Furthermore, Odin sometimes chases a stag during his wild hunt. As you can see, all the parts of this carving can easily be linked to the mythology. It is still possible that the dead brother was a hunter and that the carving represents the hunt in a spiritual meaning. Or maybe it is some old saga which to us is now lost. Maybe there are additional parts to the Codex Regius that we yet have not discovered. This is surely something that one can meditate further upon. But this is it for today. Thank you for watching this short documentary on the Böksta Stone. Consider hitting that subscribe button and share this to your friends and family. And always remember, Odin is great.